Welcome to the intersection of Black culture and horticulture with your girl, Colah be talking. And guess what, y'all? We Black in the garden. From WABE Studios, welcome to Black in the Garden, the intersection between Black culture and horticulture with your host, Colah be talking. And today, Soil Cousins, we have a truly special guest joining us. You all know how much we love to dig into the many ways that Black people grow. Well, today our host is cultivating not just crops, but communities, opportunities, and a powerful connection to the land that's rooted in faith and purpose. Patrick Muhammad, also known as the Principal Farmer, is not just a farmer, he's a visionary leading a movement. Over the past decade, he's transformed his 31-acre Your Faith Farms into a thriving homesteading oasis, blending hands-on agricultural education with modern homesteading practices. Along the way, he's helped over 30 families start their own farms and inspired millions through his viral educational videos that make farming approachable and exciting. Patrick is an Emmy-nominated educator, an author, and a featured figure in campaigns and platforms like Netflix's Chicken Soup for the Soul and John Deere. And now he's preparing to release his third book, Farming by Faith, which reflects the guiding principle behind everything that he does. Today, we're going to dig into his journey, the importance of faith in farming, and how he's empowering communities to grow their own futures, literally. Plus, we've got some rapid fire questions at the end to get to know Patrick a little better. Patrick Muhammad, welcome to Black in the Garden.
Oh, thank you. Thank you. It's an honor to be here. I am so inspired by your work.
Thank you.
I'm so inspired by the inspiration that you provide to our community and letting us know that it's cool to put your hands in the dirt. So
it is cool.
Thank you for allowing me to be here with you today.
I appreciate that. I'll take those flowers, and we got to get them where we can. So we're going to just get right into it because I know you be growing flowers and stuff, right?
Oh, absolutely.
You mentioned something as we were getting ready about planting some poinsettias, but that's not what we're here to talk about. So let's start at the beginning.
Yes.
Tell us about what sparked your interest in farming and homesteading. And then we're going to talk about the definition of homesteading, but we want to know your origin story.
I'm originally from East St. Louis, Illinois, and born and raised in a city to where it was perfect for me and my family growing up. It wasn't until I got out of the city and people asked me where I was from and I would name it and they were like, oh my God, how'd you make it? And I was like, it was perfect, but the outside perception of our city based off the news and, the statistics made it look like it was a tough city. And it was. However, it instilled in me that nothing is impossible. And so as I moved to Atlanta, got my career in education, have my family, my father said something to me. He said, son, you can't leave your children at parking space. What are you going to do for your legacy? And so he told me to begin to study wealth in America. And when you study wealthy families in America, all wealthy families inside their portfolio, there's a farm somewhere.
I love that.
And so as I began to study the benefits of the farm, there's some financial benefits, but there are wellness benefits and health benefits. What happens in our community, we don't go on vacation the way others do. See, they vacate.
Okay.
Meaning they leave their homes for 3 months, 6 months, 9 months, and they go to recreation. We have recreation. They go to recreate, right? So when you can escape your reality for 3 months, 6 months, 9 months, imagine what you can create.
Yeah.
But for us, we leave on Friday. We worried about getting back on Sunday because the bills are about to kick in and don't you spend too much money. And so when you have land, a farm, one of the first things you realize is that you're one with nature. There's no noise pollution. I don't have horns blowing. I don't have neighbors' garage doors opening, right? And so I can go to my little bitty oasis and escape the realities every day for the opportunity to begin to recreate. And so as we began to study that, we stepped out on faith and purchased 31 acres with no experience.
No experience.
No experience.
That is remarkable. So that means you learned a lot of things, I imagine, the hard way, maybe a little experimentation. I'm sure you started with research, but you bought the land first.
Absolutely. When I say no experience, I mean no experience, right?
So no experience, meaning, did you even know what homesteading meant? Because I want you to define that for our soil cousins.
In our community,
Let's talk about it.
I'm gonna take a step back and then answer that question. Sure. So when you study the wealth gap, children inside of our community, there's a 3 million word gap.
Oh.
What that means is children in our community are exposed to about 600 words in their family per day. Where families of wealth, they're exposed to about 3,000 words per day.
Oh.
And so that vocabulary and that language gap creates this gap once they start school.
Right.
So we haven't heard, wherever you grew up, you didn't hear the word homesteading. Right?
Understood.
You didn't hear the word compost, right? So there's a language that we were not exposed to that now once you step into this space, you begin to learn and hear words that you just were not familiar with because it was not part of our vernacular inside of our community. So go into homesteading. Homesteading is basically providing for your family as many and as much of the necessities to sustain life within your property, okay? Now, there's some people that homestead for a better living, and there's some people that homestead for a profit, right?
Okay.
And that's where I think the confusion gets in.
Oh, I can
because
see that.
people instantly want to sell you eggs, but you don't even know your chicken laid 3 eggs, and you try to sell me a dozen. You can't go into profit mode, right?
Yeah.
So you have to take your time and begin to say, okay, we're going to raise chickens for eggs. We're going to raise chickens for meat. We're going to have our garden for our herbs for cooking, and then we're going to have our vegetables, our squash and our broccoli, and but the surplus, the excess, is what you can begin to sell to the public, and that's too quick. We're trying to microwave this thing
for sure
and go to profit quick, and you haven't got your first harvest yet. So I believe the proper definition and the act of homesteading is for a better quality of life for your immediate family first. Put the oxygen mask on yourself first.
Absolutely.
Go through a couple seasons of growing first before you try to make a profit.
And can you speak a little bit more specifically to what the environmental specifics of homesteading look like?
Yes. So everything from, again, I'm going to go to noise pollution, to light pollution. Imagine, I'm not too far from the airport. I can go outside on a night and see every star in the sky without light pollution. Right. Meaning there's no skyscraper lights, there's no street lights. It's just me in the darkness.
Right. And
you get a sense that pure light. Then you have the noise pollution of the constant noises out there. But then you get to a point to where you're at a level of peace because you're able to consume what you grow. My well has 7.4 alkaline water coming out of the ground.
What?
Right. And so
they pay big money at Trader Joe's for that.
So you begin to recognize and realize the immediate health benefits. My wife was taking some blood pressure medicine. She doesn't have to take that anymore, right? We go outside and we ground ourselves, take our shoes off and get grounded. Right? So there's so many benefits immediately for the family that's homesteading that makes it a necessary practice for everyone.
And so is it important, and I'm thinking about our soil cousins in urban areas, is it important to have a lot of space?
It's important to have a lot of space if you can get the space, which I believe we all can get the space, right? One of the things that when I say nothing is impossible, and the reason I can say we have 30 families that we have helped, because we show you how to remove this cloud that it can't be done, right? No matter how much money you make, we can show you how to get to land and then turn that into farmland. Right.
Okay.
And so in our communities, the reason there's crabs in the bucket is because once somebody gets to the top, somebody else is pulling it down. But in East St. Louis, we were taught that the crab in the bucket reality is when you get to the top, you got to reach back and pull somebody else with you and show all the crabs how to get in the bucket. Right. So us acquiring land is not for me to brag and, oh, we got 31 acres. No.
Right.
My responsibility is to say it can be done.
Because I know that because I did it.
Yes.
And I want to show you.
And that's why it's Your Faith Farms, plural. At the beginning, we named it plural because our goal is I want for my brother and sister what I want for myself. I don't want to sit here and tell you, Colah, how great my life is, and I'm not here to try to help you. I want to help you experience exactly what I'm experiencing. And that's what our community has to come. So all of our cousins, yes, you can do it. I can show you how to grow in a balcony. I can show you how to grow in a patio. I can show you how to grow in a subdivision. I can show you how to grow on 2, 5, 10, 50, 100 acres. But that skill set has come because we've been failing forward since we've had our farm.
I love that, the enthusiasm about sharing your wealth literally with others who want to understand how to get what you have. That is very critical. I'm thinking cooperative economics. I'm thinking Kwanzaa. You know, we talk about that in that time when it's seasonal, but it's important that we live that all the time.
We have to have action.
Action.
It's not mine. It's God's. God didn't, that's not my sky. It's not my seed, right? So I already know it's someone else, right? So I'm going to shift to one thought. When you have livestock, as much livestock as we have, and you realize you have dominion over that livestock. I have dominion, but I shouldn't have dominance, right? I have animals that will submit and give their life, but I shouldn't be so arrogant that I'm taking life without them giving it, right? And so when you realize that all of this is given to us as humans to experience God-like attributes, then you have to be willing for your cup to run over. So I want my cup to run over so there's enough to give. Amen. I don't want to close my cup. I got mine. You better get yours. Look at that mentality.
Yeah.
And so we have to shift the mentality in our community. We don't need to be gatekeepers. Open the gate, kick the gate open, tear down the fence, and let everybody know how this can be done. Because if 1 helps 2 and 2 helps 4 and 6 helps 12, look at our communities now. So all of our cousins are living their best life and not just 1, 2, or the few.
Tell us why you think homesteading is a lifestyle that more Black people should be considering, and what are the biggest benefits in homesteading for our communities?
Absolutely. I think homesteading is what our community should focus on now. We've heard all the studies for many years from the Tuskegee Institute. We've heard all of the horror stories, and our generation, our parents ran away from the farm because their parents were sharecroppers, et cetera. So go to college, don't you do nothing in the agriculture space, you go get you a degree and go get you a good job.
There was trauma
that was trauma,
attached,
right?
Yeah.
And so in that, we lost a generation and that skill set that our grandfathers and great-grandparents had. And so now we've been encouraged to move into the inner cities and depend solely from our food from big government, big companies, et cetera. And you see how now they're saying, oh, if you ate this cereal, it had this color in it, now it leads to cancer. Oh, if you ate this is GMO and right? But we've been forced, we've lost the skill set. We don't know how to do anything. We're solely dependent on someone else, the food, clothing, and shelter.
The dye that's in it and everything.
The dye, the chemicals. Oh, it's ridiculous. And so we have to have a skill set, because if we can't sustain our life, then someone can end our lives. Right?
That's a good way to put it.
That which we enjoy, which we consume, we keep going to that. We don't know we have no idea what's inside of that, right? The last hamburger that you ate, I guarantee it wasn't from one cow.
Okay, don't read me now.
Okay, I guarantee, right? Because we're eating from the feed lots, and they're taking cows from like Mexico, and they'll bring them to a farm because to get the grass fed, you leave it on the ground for 60 days within the state, and you technically could say it's grass fed beef, right? And then they process it in mass, and when they process it in mass, they're taking cow number 1, 12, 15, 16, put them inside of the grinder, and here's your burger.
Yeah.
Right, now imagine how many locations did that burger come from that you're consuming right now. Imagine what they're saying with the restaurants, the chicken restaurants, and all the ingredients in a chicken sandwich, right? Right. Imagine, when's the last time you've been to a chicken restaurant? I'm not going to say any names. And they said, we're out of chicken.
Well, they don't be running out of
chicken. They never
chicken.
run out of chicken. It's impossible. I have chickens at home. I know what it takes to have for that hen to sit and go broody and sit on that egg for 21 days at the right temperature to hatch a baby chick. I know how long it takes for that baby chick to get up to 6 to 8 pounds so that we can harvest that chicken for the meat. How does it happen so quick? And how does it happen in chicken houses that there's no roosters? because to have an egg fertilized, you got to have a rooster. But all these chicken houses that you see and we see, there's all these hens laying eggs that's not fertilized because the egg can't get fertilized if there's no man there, right? And so the skill set that we must have, we've lost it. So someone has to be willing to take that risk to be ostracized by the community. You're a farmer. You got overalls and dirty shoes, and right? That's what you in the agriculture space. Someone has to feel the brunt of that to know that it's so important, because the first assignment from God was for Adam to tend to the garden.
Yeah.
So we got to get back to that work because we have a community to save.
To a community to save, a community to feed. And it's very important that we do that, especially in the times that we are currently living in. So I know there were challenges along the way when you first started your Faith Farms. Can you tell us a little bit about some and how you overcame the most challenging ones?
Absolutely. To your viewing audience, the first thing I would say is it is possible.
That's it.
So as long as you have that at the back, it doesn't matter what hurdle I'm going to get to.
Yeah.
Just know it is possible. And so, again, we had no experience. I couldn't call my dad and say, hey, Dad, how did you buy? Dad don't have a farm. I couldn't call my granddad and ask him, right? And so I had no resources. And so what I did, everyone can do. Because you'll hear people say, oh, you can go to the USDA. Okay, that's a whole ticker tape of things you have to do. So what we did was we got pre-qualified at any bank. Okay, so you call any bank.
Pre-qualified for funding?
Pre-qualified for a house.
Okay.
See, I'm about to remove all of this that they do to keep us.
Okay, break it down.
All you have to do is get pre-qualified for a home. I don't care if they tell you qualify 100,000, 200,000, 500,000. It doesn't matter what they say. Now, once you have that letter, and our letter was $450,000. Now we print out a list of all of the houses that had a backyard that was acres. See, you got to have a farm loan. No, you don't. You have to have a qualification letter. So you go into Zillow or any of these platforms, and when it says lot size, you just increase it. Here's my dollar amount, $450,000. Go down to the lot size. Go 5 acres, 10 acres, whatever you want. It's going to show you those houses that has that price range, has that acres. It's the same process. So we purchased 31 acres with no USDA help.
I see. Okay. So you're saying that you approached it as though you were buying a home.
You're buying a house with a big backyard.
Buying a house. So the first step is to get a house with a big backyard.
Yep.
Okay.
My house just has 31 acres of a big backyard.
And 31 acres is quite a bit, but what would you suggest for someone just looking for the minimum? Like, what's the bare minimum?
Absolutely.
To feel like you're really doing it?
Well, I'm going to give you one more, Colah. Okay. You're getting a lot of these gems.
I love it.
So the definition of a farm in the United States of America is any location that a farmer is maintaining that space. Did I say anything about size?
No. So then how do you become a farmer?
Absolutely. So based off the USDA, because of the urban ag move, and we have to give a shout out to all of our Rashid Nouris in Atlanta and all of those that fought to make sure that urban gardens became a reality. So now the USDA has changed the restrictions to where it's 1/100th of an acre. Wow. So if you have 1/100th of an acre, you could be classified as a farm. And now that classification allows you to be the farmer. And so now you have a farm.
Is that like the size of the room that we're in?
Yes, 1/100th of an acre. So now your backyard in the city of Atlanta can be considered a farm, and now you're open up to all of the USDA opportunities. All right?
Thank you for that.
Speak and know the language of the people.
Okay.
Speak and know the language of the government. So,
okay, and y'all make sure that y'all listen to the end so you can get more details about how to connect with Patrick so that you can, if you want to learn from him directly, then there's definitely a way to facilitate that. So I'm thinking about the name of your farm, Your Faith Farms, and it speaks to how deeply your faith is woven into your work. How has your belief system shaped your approach to farming and building a community?
Absolutely. My wife and I have always been very spiritual. We're very intentional about how we raise our children. But I know we have gotten closer to God through this experience of farming. One of the most glaring memories that I have is my first year of planting seeds, and I was growing sunflowers and okra. And my sunflowers got like 6 feet tall, right? And my okra was up there, and I was like, oh, I got some skills.
Yeah.
And so this one little sunflower seed produced this 6-foot stalk with this beautiful head of sunflowers. And so for like 2 weeks, I would go out there and admire my sunflowers and, the beauty of it. And then it began to die.
Oh. And
so I went out one day because now I have like 30 sunflowers that's 6 feet tall. They're all dying. They're not as beautiful anymore. And so I said, well, I need to cut these down because this is not beautiful. And I went to the stalk. And as I hit the stalk, 600 seeds fell to the ground. And at that moment, I realized how beautiful God is. Because from that one seed, it was able to produce 600 seeds at its decline.
Wow.
Because that sunflower was dying out.
Yes.
But before that sunflower would die out, the intelligence inside that sunflower, I have to push into the next generation seeds. And so on the farm, life and death travel the same path. You will see a chicken doing good in the morning, and that chicken is dead in the afternoon. See, life and death are all day trying to outwit each other. And right, it's so the motivation, the energy, the inspiration that life has, it can keep a pace on death. It's outrunning death. But the moment that you begin to get depressed in your life, the moment you begin to get woe is me in your life, then death can creeps up. So disease comes from dis-ease inside of your spirit, inside of your body. And so we have to ward off that. And the way you ward off that is keeping a healthy, living, flourishing environment around you. And so that's what the farm brings. And so we've been able to see the beauty, which of the bounties of God will you deny? Right? When you plant one seed and that okra stands up and you pull okra for the next month, every day, you pull one in the morning, there's 2 more come back. You pull another, you pull a zucchini squash. Big old zucchini. You pop it off, you come back to that. It's another zucchini.
It's another one.
You start popping those cherry tomatoes, and there's hundreds of them. And then you have an abundance. When you have an abundance that's more for your family to consume, then your cup runs over. You open it up to the community. Colah, come on by and get some eggs. Girl, I got too many eggs. Come on by and get some tomatoes, right? Come on by. And so that community approach. Now we get to the point to where you say, hey, Pat, I need 5 acres. You go get 5 acres. Girl, what you going to do? I'm going to do hibiscus. I'm going to do garlic. Okay, but I'm not going to grow that. I'm going to grow tomatoes and squash, right? So now when I need some garlic, I just bring you some squash. You give me the garlic.
I love that.
So that community system becomes a bartering system. And guess what? We haven't spent any money. So now we can increase our family wealth by bartering with like-minded people. That's what we have learned from the faith that we have and continue to have when we started our farm. We didn't know the direction we were going. We were just believing this is the right thing to do. But now we understand by God's permission that our mission is to learn, share, and grow.
Wow. And so 30 families later, can you give us an example of one of your most proud moments in the helping of so many families along the way?
One of my most proud moments was the family at Homestead Heart. And many of your listeners have probably watched them on YouTube. And they have thousands of subscribers, hundreds of thousands of subscribers.
Oh, wow. Prolific.
Yes. And I remember talking to them early on, helping them when they were looking for the land search and, all that good stuff. And we had lost some distance because they're a little closer to Fort Valley, lost some time. And one day I get this call about someone inquiring about my farm dogs. And I'm like, yeah, okay, I have farm dogs. Why do you not have farm dogs? Oh, from Homestead Heart. Who is Homestead Heart? And so I went into Google and I realized that this is the family that we helped get started. And to know that helping them get started, their farm is now sustaining them financially.
Wow.
Right? And so when you help someone, you don't help someone looking for the favor. You help because you know it's the right thing to do. And so when I say 30 families, Colah, I'm not talking about 30 families that we sent an email. I'm talking about 30 families that they've come to us and said they're interested. We find the farm. Mm-hmm. We go to the farm and walk the ground. Mm-hmm. We help them to get qualified. Then we help them to get USDA. Then we help them source their animals, source their seeds, help them start I'm talking hands-on 30 families, right? And so that's different than someone saying that, I've helped millions. Okay, somebody may have helped millions, but I know I've changed 30 families' reality.
That you put your hands on, you stewarded them through the process.
Absolutely, and hold your hand the whole way.
Come on,
now, that's taxing, but when God keeps giving you life, you are obligated to do something. My mom told me the way that you keep open your eyes every day, you got to force God to give you another day. The way you force God to give you another day, you got to do something good for somebody else today.
Might as well.
To make it hard.
Yeah.
When you start calling that roll in the morning, somebody, that doggone Patrick. Boy, that boy done
Still helping people.
All right, give him more time.
Yeah.
That's the reality.
I like that. Yeah. I like that. Oh, wow. So I love that you have helped people by being able to touch them and help steward them through the process. Yes. But you've also helped so many people online. Yes. Your videos have gone viral. Let's talk a little bit about that. Reaching millions of people, making farming feel accessible and cool. Yes. You're also making it look cool. It's not just me. So what inspired you to start creating that content that you've been going viral with, and what has the response been like?
The content was very unintentional. When you are really sincere in what you're doing, I don't have time to pick up a camera, right? Yeah. I'm working. Right?
You are generating content. You're not a content creator or a content generator.
And so there's about 3 to 4 years of our work that there's no footage because I'm putting up fences because the sheep just got out.
I mean, the sheep got out. You don't have time to go run for the phone.
Yes, right. And so people will come by and I tell them these stories. It's like, man, we want to see the story. You should,
You have to be
there. And so
finally,
we began to pick up the camera. And Homestead Heart told me, they was like, Pat, we learned this from you, and we got hundreds of thousands of viewers, and you're not doing.
You got to be more intentional.
And so we began to film, but I wanted to make sure we let people know that everything that we're showing you, it can be done, right? It's very important that we're not making it feel like we're this great superior person, and to get like me, here's this price tag. That has its time and its place. But if you want God to keep blessing you abundantly when you don't expect it, and when you really need it, not when you want it, you got to keep doing good. And so our content has gone viral. Our first one that went to 6 million, I literally was bagging out my driveway. And I was filming one of my animals. It was a cat with a dog, because cats and dogs don't fight at our farm. We love it at our farm, right? And so I was filming it and posted it, went to work, and my phone died. I said, well, my phone died. And it's because it was blowing up. And I was like, that was interesting. And so people were like, we want to see more content. So we began to just film our content that is all real. Nothing is staged. It's literally hit the camera and something happen and post it. And so from that, the request, to help more people made us turn to, the YouTube and the other social media platforms so that we can share. My wife is a middle-aged, beautiful African-American woman.
You better say beautiful, because she gonna see this.
Oh, she gonna see that has a skill set of canning. She gets her nail done and all that, but she can can. She can take what we grow and she can preserve that food for 2, 3, 5 years. My wife is so talented. She can see you, Colah, and say, I saw the outfit Colah had on. She'll sit there and draw it on a piece of paper, and I'll hear the sewing machine all night long, and she can sew it from scratch. And so skills like that, we like to share with the community, because those are skills that we still need to have. I went to a cotton farm to touch and pick some cotton, and I posted on one of my platforms, pain or profit. There's some pain associated with it.
It's definitely the connection that we make. I want to give a shout out to a guest that we've had, Julius.
Oh, Black Cotton.
Yes.
That's my buddy.
Oh, of course.
Yes.
Of course. No surprise there.
Yes.
So, he's a 5th generation farmer.
Absolutely.
And he has, not sat in this seat because we weren't on WABE yet, but we definitely talked to him about sharing his story and the profit.
The profit.
Yes.
I have on some form of cotton right now. Everyone has.
I do too.
Right. So are we going to sit here and talk about the pain, the the pain?
It's
Yes,
not
there's
painful to
pain.
wear.
It's not pain. So it's modern technology. No one's hand picking cotton anymore.
Right.
So we use the machines to pick the cotton. And so we have to get to the point where we understand that there's a huge profit margin in things that we consume every day that we're not the source of.
I love that you say that. That is so critical to me in what I share. When I share a story like Julia's story and like your story, I love that you emphasize that as much as we, especially as Black people, we love to look good, and we oftentimes concern ourselves with the end product of it being the fashion, the clothing line, but not always considering going further up the chain of the textile chain to actually get some kind of control of actually growing the materials, the plants that allow those textiles to come to fruition.
I
so
think we should make being the source cool.
Say that again.
Being the source cool. And what I mean by that, you may not ever know that I'm the person behind something that's sitting on that dinner plate. You're just consuming it. I don't need to be there. But if I was the source that restaurant had to come to, I'm okay with that. And so we need to be comfortable with becoming the source.
Yes, the economic benefits are very important, and it's important for us as we're looking for ways to gain equity as a people, as Black people. You've won awards, you've been nominated for Emmys, and you have so many stories to tell. You're sharing that in your book that's coming out, Farming by Faith.
Yes.
So tell us about that book and what you hope to accomplish with Black people in particular when they get their hands on that book, and the impact you would like to have on them.
Thank you so much.
Sure.
Farming by Faith is our story. It's a journey of the decade that we have experienced thus far in stepping out on faith. As my mom said, son, the only way you can walk on the water, you got to get out the boat. And so we've got out of the boat and we've been farming and have achieved a level of success. And so inside of the book, we are helping people through our story see that if you set a plan, you can work that plan, but that plan has to have aspects of faith because someone else is ordering your steps. And so we show examples of how our steps, we had a plan, but our steps were ordered. And following the divine plan, look at the success. Look at the doors that have opened. Look at the opportunities to sell meat to the state of Georgia. Look at the opportunities to be contacted by John Deere 3 years in a row to say, hey, we need you to tell your story. Look at the opportunities that we've had to win a teacher a house because they saw our story on the social media. Now I have a teacher that has a free $400,000 house that my hands helped to build. Look at our Netflix where they contacted us to say, can you tell us a story about raising children on a farm? So all of those experiences was not the plan, but farming by faith we show you. Now we show you inside of farming by faith some fails.
Good.
Right. We show you how.
Keeping it real.
Oh, we show you how the wife, I had to hide one of the bank accounts because we went broke.
Uh-oh.
Because farming is expensive.
It is.
I didn't even have a lawnmower. And I have 31 acres. How you going to cut that grass? See, when you don't cut your grass in the subdivision, you know, you get the little letter from the, you know, the lady that's watching your grass and it's 3 inches.
Oh, yes.
But when you don't cut 31 acres, people start to move in. Like four-legged people, right? Because there's so much cover, right? And then they get so far behind and you can't cut 31 acres in a day. I used to cut grass for like 2 weeks. And if I'm cutting grass for 2 weeks, by the time I finish that, it's grown back.
It's grown back.
So I had to get four-legged animals to help me eat the grass.
Goats.
That's how we got into selling the meat because we had to add so many animals to consume the grass. But then we realized that they were gaining weight. And then we realized if we sell them by the pound, look at the proceeds. See, faith showed us that, right? Faith showed us that taking that first cow to the auction, like I see all the big guys doing, they go into the auction and realizing that I raised this cow for 2 years and I got $300. $300. So if I took all of my animals in and I would get $300 per animal, it's not worth my investment. The return on investment is not adding up. And I have a beautiful wife that knows how to count math. We about to leave this farm, right? But realizing that we can't sell at the auction because we were too small. But I could take it and process that animal and get 800 pounds of edible meat and then go to my community and show them that I have T-bone steaks, I have ribeyes that they can afford, and they would buy 30 pounds from me. And this family would buy 50 pounds from me. This family would buy 60 pounds from me. And so now I'm able to maintain my family by maintaining other families. So farming by faith is going to show you those stories, those experiences, and hopefully inspire you to be farm number 31 and 52 and 101.
I love that. Wow. So you've given us so much wisdom, shared so much of your story with us, and we can't wait to get more insights from your book. Mm-hmm. Tell us more about how we can support it, how we can get it. Absolutely. Links, handles.
Yes. PatrickMuhammadmyname.com. You can find everything there. All of our social media is Your Faith Farms. Mm-hmm. That's on your Instagram. It's all Your Faith Farms, YouTube. And on our website, we do have opportunities for us to consult you at your farm. We actually find farms for people. And where we'll go, you tell us, oh, I have 5 people in my family and we need 30 acres or whatever. I'm going to go find it for you. Show you how to qualify. If you need to buy land and you have $200, we show you how to buy land for $200 and then turn that into a farm and then qualify for the USDA. We kind of show you the backdoor way. So PatrickMuhammad.com and all social media, Your Faith Farms with the S.
With an S. Don't forget the S. It's plural because we are abundant.
That's right. That's right. That's a bar.
Okay. All right, so I know you like to have fun on the farm. It's not all just business and, you know, counting and all of that and profits and stuff like that, managing books. So we like to have fun on Black in the Garden as well. I know that's part of the reason why you wanted to join us today.
Yes, absolutely.
Okay, so we like to wrap up with a little bit of rapid fire fun questions where you just kind of go with your gut. Give us a very brief, like no more than a sentence or just one word even if you can to the questions that I'm getting ready to ask because I'm just going to fire them at you. Ready?
I'm ready.
All right. What is your favorite crop to grow on Your Faith Farms?
My favorite crop is hibiscus.
Love that. If you could only use one tool on the farm, what would it be?
My tractor.
Okay, because you can't use that one lawnmower, right? Preferred season on the farm, spring or fall?
Oh, I'm definitely summer, 100 degrees. Yes.
Okay,
I'm a tropical. I know what part of Africa we came from. I hate the cold.
So we're going to go with summer. Describe Your Faith Farms in one word.
Community hub.
Okay, that counts. Favorite meal made with something that you've grown?
Ooh, my wife makes a butternut squash pie. Oh, yes.
Yes. Okay, we'll get the recipe later. Which farming task do you enjoy more, seed starting or harvesting?
Harvesting.
I can imagine that. Do you prefer working solo on the farm or with a team?
I'm a Gemini. So oftentimes I'm by myself. So yes, they could be in close proximity, but I'm in my head.
Gotcha. Okay. What's your go-to music or podcast on the farm? You don't have to say Black in the Garden.
Okay.
Just assume.
My go-to music is Killer Mike. So
what song? Or album?
The whole album. His new album. That he just got all the Grammys. I listened to the whole album. So Killer Mike. And then I'll say Black in the Garden.
Period. Right. And I know Killer Mike is a friend of WABE. So you'll see him here any day now. Yes. And if you could visit any farm in the world, where would it be?
Oh, wow.
Whether it's just a location or a specific farm that you want to call out.
I have to call out Wayne Swanson and Swanson Family Farm because that's my mentor. So I have to give him a shout out.
And I've heard of that farm.
That's my best friend.
I love that.
Make sure
Where's he at?
He's here in Atlanta.
Oh, even better. Okay. Yes, I need to get more familiar. And thank you for that.
I have to give you this one. So I got a chance to host the first daughter of Kenya. And she invited me to come watch the wildebeest migrate.
In Kenya?
Oh my God. And I was like, are you serious? I'm thinking Lion King, right? That's as close as I've been to it.
Yeah.
She was like, sure. It's about 400,000 at a time. So I'm going to Kenya. So that's going to be my favorite.
So that's upcoming. All right. Well, this has been amazing. That was fun. It was rapid fire and it was rapid and now we're done. Wrapping up this conversation with you, Patrick Muhammad, thank you so much. It's clear that Patrick's journey from humble beginnings to becoming a pioneering figure in sustainable farming has been driven by passion, faith, and a deep commitment to community. The transformation of Your Faith Farms into a thriving hub for homesteading education is a testament to his resilience and vision. As Patrick prepares for the release of his book, Farming by Faith, we can only imagine how his story will continue to inspire others to embrace the power of agriculture and faith. In part 2, we're going to dive more into his impactful work as the principal at Chattahoochee Hills Charter School and his vision for shaping the next generation of agricultural leaders. Thank you so much for being part of this today. We can't wait for part 2.
Yes, ma'am. I can't wait. I'm honored.
Awesome. So until the next time, we want to wish y'all love, light, and soil, but don't move. Stay tuned for the watering moment with Plant Zaddy.
Patrick's journey reminds us that growth doesn't always look like what we imagine, but that's the beauty in it. Just like a seedling doesn't reveal its full potential right away, our paths can feel uncertain or even messy at times, but every single step, every challenge is a part of the process. So what you should do is trust that process, even when it doesn't align with your original vision. If you were given that dream, that purpose, it is for a reason. But see, life has a way of teaching us what we need through those twists and turns and really shaping us into what we're meant to be. So keep planting those seeds, keep showing up, and let faith guide you. Because what you're building is bigger than what you realize. It's rooted in purpose and destined for growth. And as always, Plant Fam, plant more and worry less. Plant Zaddy out.
Oh, darn. The little smallest thing will just kind of throw us off track a little bit. Is this from the heat? One time we had an issue with helicopters. They was looking for somebody around here.
Yeah.
Black in the garden. Black like the root of my hair, from the top of my head to the soles of my feet. Ay, yeah, black like the root of my hair. I'ma go what I eat in the garden where I be, yeah. WABE.